Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of my South Indian and Northeast Indian friends for whom I am recording this video in English language. And in this video, I will bring to you the Press Information Bureau analysis every day. So 9 p.m. sharp, it will be in Hindi and 10 p.m. in English every day. Now please note that you know very well that I am recording this video extra. I am doing this extra hard work. So please make sure that you spread the word and try to bring in as many views as you can. I am not giving any targets, but just do the best you can. That's all. And why PIB is so essential for all the exams, more so for UPSC, is because this is very authentic information, because it is directly published by the Information and Broadcasting Ministry, headed by Venkaiah Naidu, and therefore you can take every word of it. In fact, we have seen in the years gone by that in fact the MCQs are directly a statement from the PIB reports. That is why it is very, very important. Also, I would need your feedback on this video. I would require it, and also do give me suggestions how I can improve the video, what should be the duration of the video. I think 30 minutes is good enough, but if you think I can increase it to 60 maybe, then do let me know. So let's start. And how you can prepare with us for UPSC, go on our website StudyIQ.com and you will get to know more about our courses. Now this time in PIB, today is 1st of July when I am recording this video. It's 9:30 p.m. in the night, and which means that I will cover 30th June today. See, just like newspaper, it comes one day late. Same is with PIB. So if I'm making a video on 2nd of July, that means I will cover the news from 1st of July. So you will revise also, and there is a lot more which is available only in the PIB news. So let's begin. So first, let me talk about the rural schemes from PIB, because there was a article about, there was a news about the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Antyodaya Yojana. So I will cover that in detail, and before I even cover that, let me give you some idea about what is the Ministry of Rural Development. So as the name says, Minister of Rural Development, Ministry of Rural Development is headed by a Minister of Rural Development of a cabinet rank. His name is Narendra Singh Tomar, and then you have a Minister of State, Ram Kripal Yadav. Please note, he is only Minister of State, not Minister of State with independent charge, because he reports to Narendra Singh Tomar, so he does not have independent charge. Minister of State with independent charge is usually for those ministries which are not as comprehensive or which do not require a cabinet rank minister, like a full-fledged minister, and he need not report to anybody in that same organization, same ministry. So for example, you have Vijay Goyal, who is Minister of State for Sports and Youth Affairs with independent charge. You have Shripad Yesso Nayak, who is a Minister of State with independent charge for Ayush Ministry, like that. So these are two important people from Ministry of Rural Development. Minister is Narendra Singh Tomar and Minister of State is Ram Kripal Yadav. Now there are a lot of schemes from Ministry of Rural Development. You have the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Kaushal Yojana. Then you have Diksha, which is a training portal where the Bharat Nirman volunteers, their information is there, and it's basically a portal, web portal. Then you have Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, which promises you a job for at least 100 work days, unskilled labor. And then you have NSAP, which is a social action plan, which I will tell you in the coming slides. Then we have Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, which is basically housing for all. Housing for all is of two types. One is Gramin or rural, and another one is urban. So PMA by Gramin is by rural development. Then you have Pradhan Mantri Gram Sinchai Yojana. Gram Sinchai Yojana is the rural irrigation scheme. Then you have Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, in which a parliamentarian, he adopts a village and tries to convert that village as ideal village. And then you have Rurban, which is the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Rurban Mission. Who was Shyama Prasad Mukherjee? He is the founder of BJP. He is the guy who founded Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, why I am stressing so much on the rural schemes is because there was a news about the impact assessment of Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. See, whenever in an exam you are asked whether this scheme was hit or miss, whether this scheme was successful or not, then it is only by these assessment that you can prove. For example, if I ask you, was Swachh Bharat or Clean India campaign successful, what will you tell me? You will not tell me that, okay, my neighborhood is still dirty, therefore it was not successful. You have to go by what the government publishes, and you have to publish the data which is available in the public domain in the on the PIB website. So Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, it was holistically assessed by the Institute of Rural Management, which is in Anand, Gujarat, and their team, they assessed. So what was this Yojana? So let me give you some idea about it. So before year 1999, now there was a new government in 1999, Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, BJP government came to power. And they realized that 22% of the people only have access to various services in the villages. And also there is abject poverty, lot of poverty in the village. And we need to do something about the rural BPL households. Household means a full family, that is called a household. And BPL is below poverty line. And there were estimates about the Tendulkar committee report which had given its own figure for the below poverty line. So what we need to do is we need to bring those people out of the poverty. And the best way to bring a person out of the poverty is give him job, make him skilled, you know. So then they started Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana. Now Swarojgar means self-employment. That is the meaning of Swarojgar. Rojgar means employment, Swa means self. Self-employment. Yojana scheme, Gram means rural. And this was started in the year 1999 and the aim was one, sustainable income. You have to provide sustainable income to BPL household. Now what is the meaning of sustainable? Sustainable means perpetual, continuous income, you know, to rural below poverty line household so that they can earn something. And if they are already earning something, then they can supplement their income. So for that, you need to make them skilled. And what happened was this scheme went on and on for about 12 years. And then finally in 2011, this scheme was replaced by Ajivika, National Rural Livelihood Mission. It was launched. Now it's in the name only, National Rural Livelihood Mission. You have to provide livelihood. In other words, it was just basically a name change. And the word Ajivika was added. Ajivika means your livelihood. The Hindi word for livelihood is Ajivika. So it was launched by the Ministry of Rural Development in June 2011. That time we had the UPA 2 government, United Progressive Alliance, the Congress government in power. And this scheme was partially funded by the World Bank. I'm not saying this scheme was totally funded. It was only partially supported by the World Bank. And the aim was one, just try to reduce poverty, make people skilled, give them livelihood source, try to make entrepreneurs out of poor people so that there are micro institutions which can be set up which provide employment at the rural level. So basically we have to make sure that we do everything in power to harness the capabilities of the poor, and we have to establish synergies in the rural segment so that they can realize their potential. As simple as that. That was the National Rural Livelihood Mission, Ajivika. Okay. Now Modi came to power in May 2014. We had a change of government and now we have the NDA government, National Democratic Alliance. BJP and friends is called NDA. So BJP has friends like Shiva Sena, Shiromani Akali Dal and lots of friends. Now what they did was, so there was something known as National Rural Livelihood Mission, okay, or Ajivika, National Rural Livelihood Mission, as we have seen. And there is something known as National Urban Livelihood Mission, okay. So there is a Rural Livelihood Mission and there is a Urban Livelihood Mission. So in November 2005, they merged the two and they called it DAY. DAY is Deen Dayal Upadhyay Antyodaya Yojana, okay. I'll tell you who is Deen Dayal Upadhyay much later. Deen Dayal Upadhyay Antyodaya Yojana. So if I tell you what is the meaning of DAY, NRLM, it is the rural component. And if I say what is the meaning of DAY, NULM, it is the National Urban Livelihood Mission. There are two. It is bifurcated. DAY is of two types, National Rural Livelihood Mission and National Urban Livelihood Mission. And if you join the two, it becomes simply Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. So it has a rural component and it has a urban component also. Is it clear now? So they merged the two missions and they called it Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. And they completely removed the word Ajivika or livelihood. That was there in the 2011 scheme, okay. And another thing, the Rural Livelihood Mission, it carried out by the Ministry of Rural Development, of course, as the name suggests. But the Urban Livelihood Mission, National Urban Livelihood Mission, was carried out by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation. For that, we have the Cabinet Minister Venkaiah Naidu, who is also the Information Broadcasting Minister of India. Another thing, again, when they change the name also, but again, in principle, the scheme does not change. So poverty alleviation remained the prime important task, and you have to provide employment, skilled labor, etc. on a sustainable basis, perpetual basis at the grassroots. Now, who was Deen Dayal Upadhyay? So Deen Dayal Upadhyay, see, before BJP was founded by Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, it was called Jan Sangh. So he was one of the most important leaders of the Bharatiya Jansangh, which is the precursor of the party, Bharatiya Janata Party. And Pandit Dindayal Upadhyay, he was a very, very prominent figure. He gave the concept of Antyodaya. Antyodaya means what? Ant means last. Okay, and Uday means rising, like development, as a sign of development, like the sun rises, which means sun is developing. So he said the last person, which means the poorest of the poor, the most marginalized person in our society, the end person, the last person should also be developed. That is the concept given by Pandit Dindayal Upadhyay ji, who you can see in the picture here. Now, what were the highlights of this scheme? That is Pandit Dindayal Upadhyay Antyodaya Yojana. So again, skill training has to be there. And how will you give skill training? So basically, you will invest on people, on training, like any company does, right? Then social mobilization and institution development. This is very important. There will be something known as self-help group. These self-help groups, they will train people, they will establish industries so that micro level industry which poor people can afford, or poor people, if they become skilled, they can set up small level institutions which provide employment at the local level. For that, they will be given assistance, any assistance possible. There will be knowledge sharing, there will be cash subsidy, there will be credit link subsidy, all types of assistance will be given. Then urban poor. Who are urban poor? Like your rickshaw wala, your auto wala, these guys, who run autos, the people, poor people in the urban area who live in slums. If you go on a highway, you see people in the slums, or people sleeping on the highway pavement. Those are all the urban poor. So subsidy will be given to urban poor so that they can set up micro enterprises. For that, interest subsidy 5 to 7% will be given. Loan will be given up to 2 lakh rupees. And for group enterprises, loan limit is 10 lakh rupees. Now, for urban homeless people, we will try to give shelter also. So basically, it's a very holistic kind of scheme which basically has one purpose, which is to give people some income source through skill development. Another very, very important concept. See, Modi is pushing Make in India. What is Make in India? Modi is inviting, our Prime Minister is inviting the foreign companies to set up manufacturing facilities in India. What will happen because of that? Number one, our local ecosystem will be streamlined. We will learn more professionalism, we will be more professional in our approach. Our back end, forend, they will all be streamlined. Then it will generate employment also, and most important, technology transfer. So if Apple, for example, manufactures something in India, our local companies can also learn their technology. So all these are advantages of Make in India. And of course, investment will come in India, foreign direct investment will come in India, which can help propel our economy. So, but Make in India, let's say a foreign company is investing money and it is putting its manufacturing facility in India. Do they have skilled labor? No. And if they don't have skilled labor, then what will happen? The cost will increase. There will be poaching of labor from each other's factories and the cost will increase significantly. So it will not be financial, the companies will not be financially viable and they will not be encouraged to set up bases in India. So India needs skilled labor. Let me tell you a figure. Out of all the people who reach the age of working in India, only 10% are skilled. Rest are not skilled. If you see this number, it is much higher in other countries. For example, in UK, it is 50%. In France, it is close to 60 to 70%. So in European countries, the people who graduate and post-graduate, they are skilled. In India, the person will reach the earning age all right, but he will not be skilled. So if he is not skilled, where will these foreign companies get workers from? So skill development has to be also for Make in India objective. Otherwise, Make in India cannot sustain itself. And therefore, if we skill people, then what will happen? We will have more workforce, more labor, more man hours, and more economic growth. So, National Rural for Livelihood Mission. Now, I'm talking about Ministry of Urban Development, not Ministry of Urban Development, but Ministry of Rural Development. So, therefore, I will focus on the rural part of it in this video. So, National Rural Livelihood Mission, it had only one agenda. That agenda was that we will make a difference in the lives of 7 crore rural poor households. That is 7 crore families, not people, families. We are talking about 7 crore rural poor households across 600 districts, 6,000 blocks, 2.5 lakh gram panchayat and 6 lakh villages in the country through self-help groups. As the name suggests, self-help. You are helping yourself. You are self-employed. You are creating a micro enterprise which will provide knowledge, which will train and which will give employment to the people. And this will be supported by the federated institutions and multilateral institutions like the World Bank. And this will be done within a period of next 8 to 10 years. And after the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana was launched for all of these, the assessment work was given to IRMA, Gujarat, Indian Rural, Rural Management Institute, Institute of Rural Management, Anand, Gujarat. Anand is known as the Milk City. It also is the headquarter of Amul. And what was the job of the Institute of Rural Management, Anand? You just have to evaluate the scheme holistically on all the levels. You have to suggest advisory also. You have to evaluate the design of the scheme, implementation, whether it is being implemented in a correct way or not. What are the results, whether this scheme is able to achieve our bigger goals like social inclusion, financial inclusion, how much it is helping us for making more inclusive growth, then what are the outcomes, what is the impact at national level, and things like that. And this is what they come up with. This is the most important part of this video. So this is what the study told regarding National Rural Livelihood Mission. So first thing is that there are two types of villages now. One, those are covered under National Rural Livelihood Mission, and those who are not. So the villages that are covered, the households in that village, they had higher number of livestock assets. More cattle, more cows, more buffaloes, like that, compared to the uncovered area. This shows that NRLM has a positive impact. Second thing, NRLM, those people who have availed NRLM, those villages which are covered under NRLM, those households, they have more savings. They have equal savings, but they want to save in the banks. So they want to save. They show a higher intensity, inclination to save in formal institutions like banking compared to the villages which are not covered. However, the savings were almost similar. Third thing, the villages that are covered, they have a higher loan size, probably because they have more income, so they want more, they want to build more things like a house, and they want to avail more benefits like scooter or things like that. Probably that is why they have a higher loan size, and which is about 67% more than the loan size which is in the uncovered area. So this shows that they need more banking services because they need more loans. The ones who, the households which are covered under NRLM. Now you might argue that these institutions have a higher income compared to the ones which are not covered. As we have seen here, look at the last point. The households which are covered, they have 22% higher net income compared to the uncovered areas. This shows that NRLM definitely increased the income of the households. Now you will say that when they are already earning higher, why do they need loans? Because when our lifestyle, our standard of living increases, then our needs also increases. Probably that's why. But this was one very good observation that was that was seen in this report. Another very, very important fact, the total expenditure was similar. Household consumption expenditure was similar in covered and uncovered area, but the households that are covered under NRLM, they spend less on food consumption, but they spend more on education. This is very important. They spend less on food consumption and more on education compared to the uncovered ones. So all of these things show definitely that NRLM made a definite impact, positive impact in the lives. So you can say NRLM or Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana is definitely positive. Next, apart from this, there are a lot of other schemes which Ministry of Rural Development is undertaking. For example, there is Diksha, which is a training portal. There is Manrega, I told you about it, NSAP, PMAGY. Let's briefly rush you through. Let me take you through to all of these. So we have the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana. Gramin Kaushal Yojana means what? Kaushal means skill. Gramin means rural. Yojana means scheme. So it is rural skill development scheme. Okay, which is one of the parts and parcels of the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. Next, Manrega, this is a game changer. It was started during the Congress time, around 2005 if I'm not wrong. And then Manrega is the largest social security scheme in the world. Now please note that it does not directly come under the category of so-called the social security, but the impact that it has created, it has made it the largest social security scheme in the world because it guarantees you 100 days of unskilled manual work to all the rural households in India. And India lives in villages. So, and most of the people there are unemployed. Therefore, Manrega can generate income for a lot of people and it can also supplement the income for a lot of people. Now, please note that in the budget of 2017, which was presented by Arun Jaitley 4 months back, the outlay for Manrega was 48,000 crore. And this is the highest in the history of Manrega. So why is BJP backing a scheme of Congress? So much so that it has not even changed the name. So much so that, and you have seen that most of the schemes, their name is changed. Indra Awas Yojana, they called it Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. You know, they have named after Deen Dayal Upadhyay, they have named after Modi, they have named after, but Mahatma Manrega, they have kept as it is and they have made it even more robust by providing maximum outlay, 48,000 crore. That is because they know they cannot do away with this scheme because this is the largest social security scheme. So now let me tell you about something which is very, very important. See, 191 countries, they met in the year 2000, okay, 17 years back. That was called Millennium Summit, and it was organized by the United Nations. So what happened? In the year 2000, the countries, 191 countries, they adopted Millennium Development Goals. What is Millennium Development Goals? These are the goals that were undertaken by the countries for next 15 years. So by the year 2015 end, you have to achieve these Millennium Development Goals. And what were these goals? They were 8 in number. Remember, they were 8 in number, and they were adopted by 191 countries unanimously. Which are these goals? That we have to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Very important. We have to achieve universal primary education. We have to promote gender equality, empower women, reduce child mortality. Because we have seen that children, as soon as they take birth, the neonatal birth rate is very high in the developing and third world countries. Then we have to improve maternal health. We have to fight the diseases like malaria, HIV, AIDS, the menace to the society. Then we have to also ensure environmental sustainability. What is sustainable development? Sustainable development is the one which does not compromise the needs of the future. At the same time, it promotes the needs of the present generation. That is called sustainable development. So, and also we need to develop a global partnership. That is, all the countries need to come together on a common page, and they need to cooperate with each other. These were the Millennium Development Goals. Now, important thing, 2015 ended, okay? Were these 8 Millennium Development Goals realized? Were they all achieved? No, but there was significant improvement. For example, gender gap became lesser and lesser. Child mortality, lesser and lesser. HIV, AIDS, malaria, significant improvement. Women empowerment, significant improvement. So we cannot say that all the Millennium Development Goals were realized, but there was significant improvement. But what happened after 2015? From 1st January 2016, the country said, now we need to do something more robust. We need to increase the level. So what they did, they adopted 17 goals instead of 8. So they replaced Millennium Development Goals with something known as Sustainable Development Goals. So for next 15 years, that is till 2030 end, we need to achieve these 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And for that, Manrega is very, very important. So keep Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals handy when you write the answers. Now, regarding Manrega, there was a very important piece of news in PIB. See, Manrega, we are paying our workers, no? We are paying unskilled workers. How are we paying them? Are we paying them cash? No. 99% payments are in the form of electronic financial management system. 99% payments are on electronic financial management system. And the most important part, 86% of the payments are paid within 15 days. This would not have been possible had we been doing this through cash. And this is remarkable improvement compared to earlier years. All this is very, very recent, and these observations are done from April to June 2017. So this is another line that you can put in the essay of Digital India. How Digital India is making impact at the grassroots level. Look, in Manrega, 86% are paid within 15 days. And we have seen that there is a tardiness when it comes to payment. Workers are not getting paid elsewhere. For example, the sugarcane farmers in UP, they don't get paid on time. Similarly, the tobacco farmers in Guntur, they don't get paid on time. But look at Manrega, 86% workers, they get paid within 15 days. This is a remarkable improvement, Digital India. Another thing, 75 crore person days of work. There is something known as man hours, right? Similarly, there are man days. If one worker works for 1 day, that is a one day of work. Similarly, 75 crore persons day of work have been created. And the demand for water conservation works has increased significantly. That was also the observation. Another thing, 74% expenditure in Manrega was on agriculture and allied activities, which is very logical, because still 60% of our population depends on agriculture. And agriculture contributes only 4% of the GDP. That is why when our policy makers, they devise policies for agriculture, they don't give too much emphasis on it, because it is contributing nothing to agriculture, literally nothing. 4%, 60% population. That is why what they want to do is they want to push people from agriculture into infrastructure related wage labor. Why? So India wants to be a developed country. Any developed country will have more roads, more trains, infrastructure, buildings, big buildings, bridges and whatnot. For that you need labor. Where will that labor come from? That labor will come from if the people quit agriculture and they come into labor force. Otherwise, if this does not happen, then what will happen? The price of the project will increase. For example, I will give you example of Haryana. Here, minimum wage is around 400 rupees per day per worker. Now, that is because there is a plethora of working force. If there is a worker shortage, these workers will demand something around 800 rupees, 900 rupees. I mean, demand and supply, as simple as that. If the workers are less, they demand more. So therefore, the project cost, if a bridge is getting built for 2000 crore, it will get built for 3000 crore and our infrastructure dream will collapse. That is why this is a global design that push people out of agriculture. And a lot of agriculturists I have talked to personally, they have also nodded in yes, that yes, this is happening and this is a global design. Because any developing country, it wants more infrastructure. So that is why the infrastructure force has to come from agriculture sector, because our productivity is very less in agriculture. So we need to improve that. 60% of our agriculture force produces the same amount of worth as only 25 lakh workers of Walmart. So that shows that we need to improve our productivity. So coming to the topic, these figures about Manrega, they tell a remarkable story. Now let me tell you more about Manrega. Now in Manrega, we are making everything digital. So we are also geotagging. So 1.45 crore assets of Manrega, they have been geotagged. 5.2 crore workers, they are on Aadhaar based payment system. This is very important. What will happen because of this? So a lot of times we have seen loopholes in Manrega. For example, the people who do not deserve subsidy, who do not deserve man hours or labor, they are employed for 100 days. This happens. So now there is Aadhaar verification, Aadhaar based payment system. This will not happen. And 9 crore workers, they have already submitted their Aadhaar details and are being processed. 87% job cards have been verified and 1.1 crore job cards which were fake have been deleted. Now 24 states, they have also set up independent social audit units. Social audit means whether a scheme is working or not, you need to assess it. So a lot of states have set up independent social audit units. So all this shows that Manrega is now reaching a level where we can say that it is making absolutely a lot of difference, and all the cons, all the demerits of Manrega are being done away with in a slow and phased out manner. Next, now let me talk about NSAP. So it's very old. I mean, it came into existence on the Independence Day of 1995, and it is basically for fulfillment of the directive principles of state policy in the Article 41 of the Constitution. Directive principles, you know now. Directive principles in Article 41 of the Constitution, they are not legally binding, but again, these are directive principles which we have to keep in mind, which our policymakers have to keep in mind while framing the policies for the nation. And the program, it includes a lot of schemes. Like there is Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme, pension for the old, pension for the widow, that is called Indira Gandhi National Widow Pension Scheme. There is Indira Gandhi Disability Pension Scheme, National Disability Pension Scheme. There is another scheme called National Family Benefit Scheme and Annapurna Scheme. These are all part of the National Social Assistance Program. Now, what happened in budget this time? I'll tell you. So there is a scheme called Housing for All. So basically, they just renamed the scheme. Earlier, it was called Indira Awas Yojana. Awas means, housing. Indira Awas Yojana, name after Indira Gandhi. They renamed it to Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Okay. And there are two components of it. One is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Rural and Urban. So Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Rural, in Hindi it is called Grameen. So it is written as PMAYG. You can see here, which means Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen in rural area. Now the scheme, when it was in inception, it had just came into being. Then there were 3 crore houses in rural areas that needed to be built by 2022. Now they have increased the number by 33%. So now 4 crore houses will be built in rural areas by 2022. Now, of course, we are nowhere near to reaching this target, but improvement has been made. And in urban areas, initially 2 crore houses needed to be built by 2022. So total, how many houses will be built in Housing for All? 6 crore. Earlier, 5 crore. 3 crore in rural, 2 crore in urban. Now 4 crore in rural and 2 crore in urban. Total 6 crore houses will be built by 2022. And government is trying its best to support this scheme. How? Providing subsidy, providing credit link subsidy, inviting private players, public-private partnership. Now, for example, in budget this year, the allocation for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Rural went up from last year. It was 15,000 crore in budget of last year, last fiscal. This fiscal, from 1st April 2017 to 31st March 2018, it is 23,000 crore rupees. And also National Housing Bank, which is NHB, it will provide housing loans worth 20,000 crore rupees only in this fiscal, current financial year 2018. And as I already told you, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban, 2 crore houses will be built for the urban poor by the year 2022. How? So you will do slum rehabilitation for slum dwellers, the people who live in slum in urban areas. They will be provided houses. Credit link subsidy will be there, and this subsidy will only be available for loan amounts up to rupees 12 lakh rupees. So that is the limit. Then affordable housing through public-private partnership for economic weaker sections, financial assistance to economic weaker sections. So these are some of the ways by which government is trying to make difference to the urban poor. Now there was another, there were other news which were not that analytical, but rather still important. So do you know that which sector in India provides maximum employment? Of course, agriculture sector. Second number is textile sector. Keep that in mind. Textile sector, who is our textile minister? Smriti Irani, who was earlier HRD minister. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the first ever mega textile trade fair in Gandhinagar, capital of Gujarat. And it was also attended to by the Chief Minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani, who is from Bharatiya Janata Party. And Prime Minister said some very important words. Skill. What do we need in textile sector? We need skill, we need scale, scaling up, right? That means increase in the quantity and quality. That is called scaling up. At a more vast level, when we spread a thing, that is called scaling up. Speed. We also need zero defect and zero effect. Then textile sector is the second largest employer after agriculture. So this was the mega textile trade fair in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. Another very, very important thing now. National Commission for Scheduled Tribe. What is it? So there was earlier National Commission for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe both. It was one only. But there was an amendment in the year 2003. So this amendment was the 89th amendment. Under Article 338, they amended Article 338 and they inserted a new article which is called Article 338A. There was a bifurcation. Okay. Earlier the National Commission was only one for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe. Then they bifurcated. Now we have two. We have National Commission for Scheduled Caste and we have National Commission for Scheduled Tribe. Please note that National Commission for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe, the chairman, the vice chairman, they are all elected for a period of 3 years. Not elected, appointed. Another important thing. National Commission has said that ST community, there should be no discrimination. That is the entire raison d'etre, or the reason for their coming into being. That National Commission for Scheduled Caste, it is authorized as per the Article 338. Article 338 of the Constitution empowers National Commission for Scheduled Caste to ensure that there are proper working conditions for the scheduled tribe employees of the government. And what happens if there is any discrimination against an employee? There is an inquiry. So in the investigating team, there has to be minimum of 2 scheduled tribe members, because that will be natural justice. So they will make sure that there is no discrimination. That is the request of the National Commission for Scheduled Tribe, which they have written to the DOPT, that is the Department of Personnel and Training. And this will be the request will be sent to the President also. So basically what National Commission for Scheduled Tribe does is that it prepares a report of the whole year, okay, against the cases, number of cases against discrimination cases or any cases against the scheduled tribe community, scheduled tribe working force of the government, and it submits a report to the President at the end of the year. Another thing, who is the chairman right now of National Commission for Scheduled Tribe? It is Shri Nand Kumar Sai. Shri Nand Kumar Sai. And is it a constitutional, or is it a, there are two things. Is it a constitutional institution, or was it formed by amendment? That is, it is statutory in nature. It is statutory in nature. Okay, keep that in mind. Next. This news is from sports. Shrikant Kidambi, right now he has become world number 8 in the latest rankings of the Badminton World Federation. Why he has risen to this fame? Because in the last 6 months, look what he has done. So first, he and Sai Praneeth, they created history because they reached the finals of a ranking event. And he was beaten. Shrikant Kidambi was beaten by Sai Praneeth. That was the Singapore Super Series title, won by Sai Praneeth. But after that, Shrikant Kidambi has won 2 back-to-back Super Series. First, he won the Indonesian Super Series. He beat Japan's Kazumi Sakai in the final. Then, the most important, Australian Open. And in the Australian Open final, he beat Person Olympic gold medalist. His name is Chen Long. Not only that, in 2014, he had beaten the previous Olympic champion Lin Dan in the final. So he is known to create upsets, and he has been honored by Vijay Goyal, who is the Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs with independent charge. Another very important news regarding railways. See, if you travel by railways, you need to carry identity proof. What identity proof can you carry? You can carry your license, you can carry your passport, you can carry your anything, Aadhaar card. But now you can also carry e-Aadhaar. That is, you can download Aadhaar card on your mobile phone, and that is good enough. That is what has been notified by the Ministry of Railways. No point unnecessary making your pockets heavy and carrying your physical Aadhaar card, because there is a chance it might get lost also. Just in your mobile, download your electronic Aadhaar and carry it. It is good enough. It will serve as a identity proof. Okay. Another important thing. Our Ministry of External Affairs. See, there are 2 countries, Bhutan and Nepal. In these countries, you can travel without visa. Okay. But you need to carry identity proof. And there are only 2 identity proofs which are, which work actually. One is your passport and one is election card. Aadhaar cannot serve as a identity proof if you go to Bhutan and Nepal. remember that only passport and election card. That was announced by the Ministry of External Affairs. Bhutan and Nepal, you can travel without visa, all right, but you need to have passport either or election card, not Aadhaar card. Aadhaar card is not identity proof. Now let's talk about railways and GST. GST I will make a big separate video. Don't worry about it. But for the sake of covering this news, see, railways has made sure that the effect of GST is not, the burden of GST is not borne by the common public. Now that is why they have kept most of the things exempt. For example, if you travel by second class, third class, metro, sleeper class and all, no GST, nothing, all exempted. But if you travel by first class and AC, now please note that in first class and AC, earlier you had to pay service tax of 4.5% and GST has been kept at 5%. So there is a marginal increase of 0.5%. And for general goods, again 0.5% difference is there. Earlier 4.5% service tax you had to pay, now 5%. That is it. And if you are carrying agricultural produce, farmers are carrying agricultural produce, you are carrying milk, you are carrying salt, food grains, common necessities, no GST, exempted. Only difference will be if you transport general goods and if you travel by first class and air condition, you will have to pay 0.5% extra. That's it. Now some other news, let me cover. Narendra Kumar Sinha, he is the new secretary in the Ministry of Information Broadcasting. Information Broadcasting Minister is Venkaiah Naidu. He is also the Minister for Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation. Now, Narendra Kumar Sinha, previously he was secretary in the Ministry of Tourism. And Minister of Tourism with independent charge is Mahesh Sharma, Dr. Mahesh Sharma. Another important thing, Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force. The new Director General is R.K. Pachananda. And Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force protects our more than 3,500 kilometers of border with China. Tibet, China, at an altitude of more than 10,000, 15,000 feet. And very, very brave. So, Indo-Tibetan Police Force, R.K. Pachananda is the Director General or the head of ITBP. Next, India and Thailand, together they have signed MOU. They will cooperate with each other in controlling drugs, narcotic drugs, psychotropic drugs, their precursors and chemical and drug abuse. So basically it's all about drugs, opiates and psychotropic drugs which really affect your nervous system and all. Now we will cooperate with Thailand in this regard. Thailand is a Southeast Asian country, ASEAN member, ASEAN. India is not ASEAN member. Next, NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority. See, who is the chairman of NDA? It is always the Prime Minister. Keep that in mind. Ex officio. Ex officio means by virtue of his post, anybody who is the Prime Minister of India automatically becomes the chairman of the National Disaster Management Authority. Now, NDMA, we have seen in the past 6 months or 1 year that there have been a lot of earthquake shocks in Delhi. So, are we prepared for that? They conducted mock drills, mock exercises in Delhi, NDMA. Next, Canada completed 150 years of its formation on 1st of July 2017. Today, Canada completed 150 years. We are good friends with Canada. I'm not saying we are close friends with Canada, but we are good friends. We are closest friends with Japan, Russia and Israel. And now US. So these are some of the best friends. So Pranab Mukherjee, who is the outgoing president now, because one among Meera Kumar and Ramnath Kovind will be the next president of India. So Pranab Mukherjee congratulated Canada because they completed 150 years. Canada's capital is Ottawa, currency is Canadian dollar and Prime Minister is Justin Trudeau. Next, there was 200th anniversary of bicentenary, means 200 years, complete 200th anniversary of publication of Bengali newspapers. In fact, President himself said that the first newspaper in the country was Hickey's Bengal Gazette. It was published in Kolkata in 1780. If somebody asks you which was the first newspaper of the country, just say Hickey's Bengal Gazette because President said in his speech. So he attended the 200th anniversary of the same. So this was the PIB news for today. Now I need your suggestion. What I can improve in the video. See, I made an effort to keep the time under 30 minutes. But if you are comfortable, because I left a lot of news. Also, I did not add MCQ because the video would have been prolonged. If you are comfortable with 45-minute video, 50-minute video, I will add more content. I will add more news. I will make it more comprehensive. Another thing, please share the video. English views are almost 1/10 of Hindi views. So they are really a demotivating factor. But I really want to bring this video to in English language. So please support me by sharing the video. Thank you so much and God bless.